Hi guys, how you doing? Today, from my heart to yours, I'm bringing you how to survive a riot when all hell breaks loose. As you know that we're seeing riots a lot on TV when we turn the TV on. And my only guess is that it's going to get worse. So listen to me now and thank me later. Um, I'm just going to go into very basic things to do to survive a riot. And I'm reading my notes. So if I stutter, if I and take pause, I'm sorry. Okay, you know that a riot's when a bunch of people get together and behave in a violent and uncontrolled way. They can stem from civil frustration, racial tensions, religious fanaticism, class warfare, or government controls. But each of these frustrations are growing in frequency and intensity in our world today. And it does seem that we are heading to a tipping point. It seems that the threat of civil unrest is on the rise. Okay. All right, tensions are so high right now that vocal masses are prepared to lash out, shout, destroy, and loot the very cities they call home. We've already seen semi-recent examples such as Ferguson, Baltimore, and the most recent and widespread is the Black Lives Matter movement riots. The incidents prove that no one and no place is immune to a riot. Okay, it's a fascinating phenomena. Even in situations like celebrations, like at a sports event, when someone wins, riots can break out, and they often do. So we are going to learn how to little simple things that can help you get out of a riot. The psychology of rioting is insane. All it takes is for one frustrated person to take the first shot, throw a bottle, light a fire, puncture a tire, and then people see this and then the escalation will grow, okay? So basic riot preparation, um, let's see. Oh, you should prepare to be possibly in your home for a week because sometimes riots are so bad that you do have to stay indoors. So be prepared that you don't have to leave your home for at least a week. They gave an example of back in Brussels in 2015, there was the Paris attacks, and one of the terrorists was thought to be in the city, and they locked down the metropolitan area for 5 days. And people couldn't leave. So you want to make sure you have enough for a week, in case. So, okay. I'm going to skip some of this. You want to maybe carry some pepper spray or something for your self-defense if you happen to get out and need to get away from this situation. But listen, we're going to try to not get into that situation in the first place. So you want to explore your neighborhood. You want to know, like, if angry protesters are standing between you and your home, you'll be glad you took the time to learn the alleys and back streets of your town or city so that you can turn around and get home, okay? Because a peaceful protest can turn violent in a matter of minutes. So explore your town, get to know different routes so that you can see how to get home. See how long it takes. Try to memorize some of the streets and names so that you know that you're on track. Let's see. You want to develop your situational awareness skills. Hold on. Yeah, not to become too soft and trusting. We should be on the alert, okay? Not to say that we should just see that everybody is a, bad person. I'm just saying in a situation with a riot, they get pretty bad. And if you've watched TV, it's pretty scary. As you're passing random people in the streets, look at them and analyze them and see if they're a threat. Like, are they carrying weapons? But avoid the stereotypes such as skin color, the way they're dressed, the age. Instead, in a riot, you want to assume that everybody is capable of harm if push comes to shove, and oftentimes that is the case. If you're walking or driving around, notice secondary roads if where they lead and whether or not you could take that route home. So the best way to be safe in a riot is to avoid one in the first place. So use your instincts. If they're telling you something isn't right, get out, okay? Now, a big exception is if you're choosing to be a part of a riot and you feel compelled to participate, then you need to understand the risks that you're taking, okay? Now, I'm not going to do any riots because I don't want to get caught in a riot. The first few minutes of a riot, let's say curiosity gets the best of you. You see something going on and you want to go check it out. You don't want to panic when one breaks out and start running, because you might want to make a run for it, but then you got an angry crowd to contend with. They see you running and they see some maniac pushing and shoving, and you may become a target, okay? So don't panic, first off. Try to keep your mind busy. Try to think from your left side of the brain, the logical part, and not the emotional. I think I'm a right brain person. I think of the emotional, but you got to think of the logical. You want to look at what people are doing, where they're heading. Are they standing or are they moving in a specific direction? Are there any fights going on? Is anyone chasing anyone else? Are they throwing things? Even if they're not flying in your direction, they might be soon. Do you have a car that's nearby? Can you reach it quickly and safely without running for it? Is there an open door close by to take shelter should violence erupt? This is weird. You should not pick a lock to escape through a building or a warehouse. And are there any policemen in your proximity? These are things to look at. One thing is clear: whatever's happening, you got to get out of there and try to start moving in the opposite direction of the riot's focal point. You should also hide anything on you that makes you a target, such as jewelry or a gun. Now things are happening. Now what? Maybe you weren't able to run for cover. Maybe you ran into a mob and got trapped. So the first question you need to ask is, how many people are with you? Are you alone? Are you with your family or maybe your dog or friends? If you're in a group, you should try to stick together unless you have a window of opportunity to run for cover. Always keep in mind that you have to move with the flow of people, not against it. Always be on the lookout for a chance to make a quick turn on an adjacent street. And what if there is nowhere to go? In that case, maybe you can find a building to hide into. Now, even a dumpster will do, but they said use it as a last resort because sometimes people set dumpster fires when they're rioting. So it would really suck to think that you're finding shelter in a dumpster and all of a sudden it gets caught on fire. A building is best if the main riot is not trying to get into a building, but they can become traps too if the crowd starts coming in. So even if they do, they'll probably do most of the rioting on the ground floor, like breaking windows and looting. So try to make your way to higher floors if there are any. Now, law enforcement. If you happen to see law enforcement, they're just going to assume you're guilty by association. And if they start throwing tear gas in your way, they're not going to sit there and listen to you say that you're one of the good guys. They're just going to do it, okay? You're still in the danger zone. So, what else? How to avoid a riot. So, preparing for riots is more about trying to avoid them in the first place, okay? And try to tell your family, try to convince them not to go to a riot. And, time is tense right now, and you just got to be extra careful. And you need to prepare for all the disaster scenarios. So preparing for a single isolated event isn't the most productive or cost-effective way to go about it. So make sure you cover as many big and small critical events in parallel. Okay, on summary, you want to avoid them in the first place. Don't be so curious and try to find out what's going on and get yourself caught in a situation. Practice your situational awareness skills. What would I do if this happens? And look around and see what is going on and use your instincts. Some people have everyday carry gear. They have their carry gear with them, to gear that they carry to help them stay safe. Your pepper spray or what have you. Know your neighborhoods and potential escape routes. And that is my first part on this series of if I decide to go on with it. But this is what to do if you are caught in a riot or come up upon a riot. So I hope this helps. A lot of this is self-explanatory, but it's just nice to have that in the forefront of your mind just in case. Have a great day.